Good afternoon, everyone. For my Unit 7 assignment, my title is Trust, Technology, and Tomorrow, Leading the Future of Emergency Response. I'm Robin Smithgall, and it's truly an honor to stand before you today, not only as the newly appointed Emergency Management Director for the state of Florida, but as a fellow firefighter, a former chief, and a lifelong servant of the public safety family. Over the past 15 years, I've had the privilege of serving as fire chief in 2 different departments, experience that shaped not only how I lead, but how I listen, collaborate, and prepare for what's next. Today, I'm proud to bring you that same spirit of service to this new statewide role. Looking around this room, I see more than 200 professionals representing fire departments, law enforcement agencies, EMS, hospitals, local, state, and federal partners, as well as private sector. I see dedication, I see commitment, and more than anything, I see hope for the future. I believe that now is the time for vision, shared purpose, and forward momentum. As I step into this new chapter, I want to share with you where I believe Florida's emergency management system must go over the next 4 to 5 years, how we can evolve, connect, and lead together in ways that truly prepare us for the challenges ahead. Let's take a moment, a turning point, not just another conference, but the beginning of a renewed, united effort to build resilience at every level. Thank you for being here. Now let's get to work. Starting off with emergency management effectiveness during emergency incidents. We're discussing the future, so in the next 5 years, we're going to streamline our incident command systems, prioritizing real-time intelligence sharing and integrate AI and predictive modeling tools. Our emergency operations centers will become proactive, not reactive. Effectiveness of specialized teams during disasters. Florida has some of the best USAR teams in the state, in the nation, no question. But let's not confuse this with siloing. Whether it's hazmat, water rescue, or drone response teams, my vision is to cross-train and co-deploy these resources so they're faster and more adaptable. We will also work to create mentorship pipelines for younger firefighters and EMTs, trained by seasoned team members, passing down not just skills, but wisdom. Fire departments' role in EMS during disasters. Our fire departments are no longer just about fire suppression. You're first in and often last to leave. You provide medical care, rescue, evacuation, shelter setup, and even emotional support. So we must resource our fire departments not just for fires, but for everything else they've become responsible for. This includes funding for mental health units, mobile triage teams, and training for dual role response like firefighter paramedics trained to do crisis intervention. Developing partnerships in the private sector and with elected officials and local public safety and emergency response agencies. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Disasters don't respect agency boundaries, company logos, or election cycles. So if we want a resilient Florida, we need partnerships that are built for the storm, not during it. Let's start with the private sector. Our hospitals, utility providers, logistics companies, retailers, and tech partners. These organizations bring infrastructure, innovation, and speed. Over the next few years, we'll create emergency response MOUs with major businesses for fuel, water, generators, and shelter supplies. We'll work with telecom companies to improve rural and disaster area connectivity, establish a private sector emergency operations coalition that participates in statewide training and real-time response coordination. Because when the power's out and the roads are flooded, the Walmart manager who opens their store early for evacuees is just as much a hero as anyone in uniform. Now, let's talk about elected officials. We need leaders who understand that emergency preparedness is not a political issue, it's public trust. I'm committed to hosting statewide legislative briefings to keep our policymakers informed, prepared, and part of the conversation. Inviting city and county commissioners, mayors, and school board members to pre-incident planning sessions, helping them understand that when they champion funding for training, equipment, and mental health resources, they're not just checking boxes, they're saving lives. And finally, our local public safety and emergency response agencies are the backbone of the system. My commitment is that no department will be left behind. We'll increase resource sharing networks across rural and urban lines. We'll offer joint leadership development programs to grow future chiefs, directors, and emergency managers. We'll emphasize that mutual aid isn't just about help, it's about trust. Because if we aren't already, none of us are. Working with state and federal agencies. One of the greatest challenges we face is communication across agencies and jurisdictions. The next few years will be about building stronger relationships before the disaster strikes. We'll conduct multi-agency tabletop and full-scale exercises. Plans and methods for coordinating wildland firefighting and mutual aid. Florida's wildland fire risk is growing. Dry seasons are drier. Growth is pushing deeper into fire-prone areas. Our plan is to develop regional wildfire task forces and mutual aid packs that move resources before the flames ever cross the fence line. We're also working on satellite-based fire detection, real-time smoke plume modeling, and evacuation messaging tools that reach everyone, even in the most rural areas. Current and emergency trends that impact emergency response. Let me say this clearly, the future will not wait for us to catch up. Climate change, cyber attacks on infrastructure, active shooter incidents, and misinformation campaigns, these are no longer what-if scenarios. They're now. We will invest in technology, but we'll also invest in people. That means digital literacy, drones, and robotics for search and recon, and yes, social media. To gain and build trust in communities, social media can be a double-edged sword when it comes to reputation management. If we don't tell our story, someone else will. Florida, like most other states, is politically charged, so it's important to have boundaries in place for personal accounts and strong social media policies. The future is here, and we need to continue to improve and protect our image. The image of duty, honor, and pride. My vision is to empower every firefighter, police officer, EMT, and emergency worker to be a public information officer. Let's build trust in our communities before the crisis ever happens. Let's show them our training days, our late night calls, and our acts of quiet courage. Taking care of first responders. None of this matters if we don't care for the people who care for us and others. It's not an option anymore. The profession continues to be dangerous for all members, both physically and mentally. And while there are many mental health resources available to first responders, the suicide rate continues to climb. There's still a lot of work to be done to take care of our most important asset. We will change our culture. We will break the stigma. Build equity and diversity in emergency response teams. The future depends on how we include. Equity builds unity. Training, professional development, and methods for preparing first responders and other firefighters for future disasters. So where do we go from here? We train like our lives depend on it because they do. We lead with compassion and coordination. We listen to the communities we serve, and we invest in the people who serve them. My commitment to you is this. Over the next 4 to 5 years, we will build a stronger, smarter, more connected emergency management system in Florida. One that sees every agency as essential. One that treats every responder like family. One that isn't afraid of the future because we've prepared for it. Let's go build that future together. Thank you, and God bless.